Okay. Hi, Michelle. Glad you're here. I'm going to start at 6:05. I've got 6:01 right now, so about 4 more minutes just to give a few more people time to show up if they can, and then we will get going. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Good. If you don't have it in front of you, I'm going to remind you once we get going. Grab you a pen and a piece of paper or your notes app on your phone or whatever, and because it might come in handy tonight. Kim, is that your backyard?
Yes.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, there's a pond and over
Oh,
that
cool.
way, palm trees, all kinds of fun.
Palm trees don't live here very well for whatever reason.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if it's too hot or too dry during the summer or what, but we tried them one time. They just don't live here.
Where are you?
I'm in Mississippi.
Okay. Well, it's Arizona, so I mean it's hot and dry here too, but maybe I don't
Yeah,
know.
but see, here we've got a lot of humidity and
Oh, yeah.
so that makes the plants toasty. How about I say it that way?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but those are beautiful palm trees.
Yeah, I have a few of them, but yes,
We
it's
have pine and oak and elm and birch and cedar and stuff like
yeah.
that. That's not what we've got here. It's really funny because I live in the north. If you think of Mississippi, if you cut it into four pieces, I live in the northwest quadrant, right in the middle of the northwest quadrant. I used to live
Right.
in the very bottom of the southwest quadrant, right there before you went into Louisiana. And it was so funny because when you were driving down 55 going into Louisiana, you knew exactly without a sign that you left Mississippi and went into Louisiana because it was like the whole vegetation changed. Of course, the road changed too, but the vegetation went from being um, oak and elm and kind of crisp looking to we've got this thicker trees with Spanish moss on them
Oh yeah.
and other stuff like that. So it was so funny because it was just like leaving into going into a different world.
Yeah.
Is it real
I don't
cold
know.
there? Is it real cold in Mississippi in the winter where you are, Georgia?
Mm,
Do you get frost?
we can get cold. It can get cold, but it doesn't last. Like we're starting to get cooler weather now. It's kind of we're in that what they call Indian summer because it'll be like 100
Mm.
degrees and it'll be 75 degrees, and at night it'll be 65 and then it'll go down to 52, stuff like that. But it'll be this way for about another month or so, and then maybe in December, 1st of January, we might have some freezing weather. Might even occasionally have a little ice or snow, but it doesn't last very long. But we're in the part of the country when people say ice and snow that we shut down
Uh,
because
That's here
because
too.
we know how to drive in rain. We know how to drive in tornadoes. We don't know how to drive in the snow and the ice. People that think they do usually end up in the ditches. Our roads are made for rain, so they fall to the side. And when you're in ice country, you got the flat roads. So that's the reason they tell us to stay home because we slide off the road here. So hey, Mary Jane. Okay, one more minute and we'll get started. Like it's been really nice today. It was 52 degrees this morning when we got up. And I think the hottest it got today was like 80. So that's like a nice spring day for us.
Yeah, it's like
I love
100 right now, so it's kind of
and that's kind of the way we've been here up until last week or so. Where our temperatures were getting up into the upper 90s, lower hundreds, but the heat index it's like 110, 115. So that's where it gets us is the humidity and not a lot of breeze. We're in the Delta, so there's not a lot of trees here because most of them have been cut down for fields. We've got lots of farmland here, lots of soybeans. Used to have lots of cotton, corn, wheat, rice. soybeans got to be the big thing, but cotton is kind of making a comeback. Corn was really big here. Now that's kind of going back to soybeans and cotton. So I love it because I grew up with cotton, except we grew up with a cotton that was as tall as I am, and I'm all of 5'1.5". So
Me
cotton
too.
used to be my height or taller, before they started making the whatever they call it, the engineered kind that only grows short and wide. But it makes like 4 times as much cotton in a bush. So I understand. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. And Caroline and Cassie, let me make y'all host. And that way, if anybody shows up, y'all can add them. Let's see. I've got to remember how to do this. I know it's not that difficult. Mhm. Oh, I bet I do it over here. Yeah. Okay. Now, if anybody comes in late, y'all can let them in. Okay. So I'm Georgia Ryle. I'm a transformational life coach and an energy healer, hypnotherapist. And I have 2 co-hosts here, Caroline Carpenter and Cassie McLeod. They're going to help me out tonight. They're going to capture any questions that come up in chat, because once I start the presentation, I can't see the chat anymore. I see a couple of faces. That's about all I get to see. So if you have any questions and you put them in the chat, they will be writing those down for me. Or if it's something you think needs to be asked right at that moment, go ahead and come off a mute and just ask it, and we'll answer it at that point. How about that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So tonight we're here to for this Be in Flow, how to release internal resistance in your business, preventing you from being in flow workshop. And I wanted to apologize up front. I live in a very small town that AT&T doesn't care about a whole lot. So my internet is kind of unstable sometimes. So if y'all lose me, I will be back. Caroline or Cassie will let me know that I've frozen or whatever. And if I need to repeat something, I'll be glad to. Um, I wanted to welcome everybody here. Thank y'all so much for showing up tonight. We've got an amazing workshop here ahead of us. And if you have any questions, just like I said, put them in the chat. Caroline and Cassie will collect them for me. We are recording this tonight. This is going to be a very interactive and fun workshop. It isn't just me talking tonight. I'm going to encourage you to participate throughout this workshop. This is going to be an incredible experience, and make sure you stay till the end, because I have a bonus for you then. I want you to treat this like a paid experience. Pretend like you pay top dollar for this experience, because this is how much value this has got in it. It's going to be amazing. Like I said, thank you all for being here. And let me see if I can see there we go. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to uncover the number 1 internal resistance holding you back from being in flow, the reason this internal resistance shows up in your business and life, what steps you can take to remove that internal resistance, and if you'll please stay till the end, I'm going to reveal a gift to help you remove that internal resistance easier and faster than ever before. So I encourage you to grab a pen and a paper and take notes, or if you've got that app on your phone, the notes app on your phone or your laptop, take notes. By the end of the session, you're going to have a 1-pager to show you where you are now, where you want to be, and what's stopping you, and what actions that you could possibly consider. And the biggest part is the biggest commitment to yourself to do something about it. this is all about you, not about me tonight. So make sure you're taking notes. So grab your pen and your paper and let's get going. So here's a few house rules. Make sure you close all of your tabs on your computer so that you're not distracted. That way we can be focused for the next 90 minutes or so. If you would stay on mute, or if you've got a question though, raise your hand or put the question in chat. I am recording it. Yes, I did remember to turn it on this time. So I want you to keep your camera on throughout the workshop. And if there's a reason you can't, just let us know. It's fine. I know that we've got one person driving tonight. So she's going to have hers off. And like I said, if it's something, it's necessary, but do turn it off. But I encourage you to keep it on so I can see your beautiful faces. And Cassie and Caroline can too. So we're going to start with where you are right this minute. Whether you have a business or thinking about starting one, you're a leader of a team, you're retired, or you're starting on this life path. 99% of this will apply when you participate through those lenses. So pick one of those lenses and let's go. So I encourage you to play all out and have fun. And before we jump into the context of this workshop, I want to share a little bit about me. Many of you here already know a lot about me, but you may not know it in quite this way. I really want to set the scene today as to why I'm here serving you incredible souls and to show you why I'm so passionate about what I do. So I knew from the age of 16 that something was wrong. I tried to talk to people about it, and the doctors would say, nope, that's not what's wrong. When I turned 40, I was almost 40 pounds overweight. I had no energy and I felt horrible. And between 16 and 40, the things that I went through was irregular cycle, trouble getting pregnant, moodiness, weight gain, struggling to lose weight. It was just awful. But anyway, like I said, I was almost 40 pounds overweight. I had no energy and I felt horrible. I went to my doctor because I knew something was wrong, and it had been for a long time. And they kept telling me, everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. And I'm finally like, I've had enough of this. I know there's something else wrong. You keep telling me stuff, but we're not getting to the root cause. So I made him run 15 blood tests. And then when the results came back, I had hypothyroidism. And that means my thyroid, as a matter of fact, my thyroid was barely functioning at that point. And just if y'all want to know, that picture over there with that man with that fro, that's my husband. And that's when we got engaged. At that time, I think I was 17.
Hey, George.
The other picture,
I don't know if anybody else can see the PowerPoint, but I can't. Are you meaning for us to see the PowerPoint?
yes, that would be very helpful. I forgot to share my screen, didn't I? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I didn't know if you wanted to back up so we could see slides or, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I can do that. No, thank you. Thank you. Please let me know. Let me know what's going on because I can't see your side. All right, so let's start the presentation over. I'm not going to start the whole thing over. I'm just going to take you through the slides. So there's my welcome screen, what we're going to be going through, the house rules. Have fun and play full out, okay? This is all about you guys. And like I said, this is me and my husband when I was 17, he was 20. So that's about the time things really started going haywire. The top picture is me and my oldest grandchild. And then that picture at the bottom is me when my youngest was about 2 years old. All right, so let me move y'all back out of the way. Okay. All that to say, if I had listened to my intuition 24 years ago, life could have been very different for me. At this point, I was pre-hypertensive, I was pre-diabetic, I was depressed, I had high cholesterol, was feeling miserable. And, I kept telling the doctors there was something wrong with my thyroid. And they're like, no, your TSH is perfect. Have y'all ever heard that? So he wanted to put me on blood pressure medicine, antidepressants and cholesterol pills and whatever else. Putting a Band-Aid on an open gaping wound, right? I knew I didn't want to spend the rest of my life on any kind of pills because I grew up with grandparents who were on tons of pills. And it never they never got better. They just added more pills. I knew this wasn't the solution for me either. So for the next 10 years, I took the blood pressure medicine and the antidepressants, but I never felt any better. Still felt horrible. Except guess what? I'm gaining weight. I'm feeling worse in my body. I have no energy. Feeling miserable, constipated, bloating, severe pain in my heels and my lower back. I mean, it was like um, if you've ever exercised and then your back felt like it had stabbing pain right in the sacrum part of it down there at the very bottom. That's what I was experiencing every time I tried to do something. During this time, my daughter was in pharmacy school, and so she was trying to move from Oxford, where Ole Miss is, to Jackson, to where the medical center is, to finish her pharmacy school. And I couldn't even uh, finish helping them pack because every time I bent over, it was like somebody was stabbing me in the back. So what really set all this off was my dad died right before my 50th birthday. And my kids that lived in Atlanta at that time came for his funeral. Well, when they came here, they were sick. And I didn't know it, but I got sick from them. And so we're sitting there in church during the funeral. I'm the director of the funeral. And I'm also singing. It's me, my sister, and some cousins, and we're trying to sing, and my throat is getting worse and worse and worse. Well, it ended up being I had a bronchitis, and it just got worse and worse and worse to the point where I was coughing so bad my guts felt like they were coming out of my mouth. And so it was all like happening all at once. So you got the grief going on, you've got the bronchitis going on. And to tell you what I'd been experiencing up to that point was I would get up in the morning, I would take a shower, I would fix me some breakfast, exercise, drink some coffee. But I had to do, if I was going to wash clothes, I had to go ahead and wash clothes before I ever sat down, because once I sat down, there was no getting up. That's how low my energy was. As a matter of fact, I would a lot of times go back to bed and take a nap. Um, and then like I said, the pain in my back and my legs and my heels was horrendous. Um, and like I said, my whole world was crashing around me by that point. Um, I knew at that point that I had to do something. My sister's a nurse practitioner, so I said, look, I have got to find somebody who will just do something outside of the traditional medicine box. You've got to send me to somebody that can actually help me figure out what's going on. So she sent me to this functional nurse practitioner, and she ran some tests, and she found out by then I had Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which means my immune system was attacking my own thyroid system. So with her help, I cleaned up my diet. I took healthy supplements, and I was able to recover from the Hashimoto's. And so I went to see my doctor, and I said, okay, I had Hashimoto's. You told me I had hypothyroidism. I said, I had Hashimoto's. It had gotten that bad. And I said, I cured it. He said, no, you didn't. You can never cure it. I said, well, here are my original labs. Yes, see, that's where we have it. And then here's my other ones. See, they're gone. They're gone. And his jaw hit the floor, literally hit the floor. And he's like, how did you do that? And so I told him about it. He said, well, I need to look into that. So this taught me that taking care of your body and mind is very important. Your body can heal itself when it has the right tools. Your body is an absolute fantastic, amazing healing machine when we give it the right tools to work with, the right nutrients, the right movement. When we give our bodies real, whole foods and the nutrients it needs, it can do some absolutely amazing things. But it also means our mind has to be on board. So at this point, this is when I became a health coach and became a lifelong student to learn how to remove this internal resistance that even I was having at times. So and still do. Don't tell me I'm not totally cured, but I'm close, getting a lot closer. So at this time, I ended up with 3 degrees. I got 2 bachelor's and a master's. I became a Reiki master. I found out I was a natural energy healer. And I love combining the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. I learned the skills to break through and clear resistance held generationally and over lifetimes. And so this is when my personal mission began. Because I talked to a lot of women who were having the same issues I were. They weren't having maybe the health issues I was, I was, but they were having the resistance to, they were wanting more for their life. They were wanting to have a business, or they were wanting to have uh, uh, they knew they wanted more in their life, but they couldn't take that next step. They knew, we always know what the next step is, but it's the taking the next step that can be really, really hard at times. It doesn't always show up as illness like I did with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. It's a very unique and individual experience for each person. So sometimes we label it imposter syndrome or burnout or even overwhelm, but it's just deep rooted internal resistance held within your body. And when we can clear that out, there's a boatload of possibilities that we both have both in our life and our business. Whether it's our personal life, our business life, our relationships with our family, our relationships with our significant other. So that's why I'm on a mission to help highly compassionate and driven women entrepreneurs release that resistance and clear those unconscious blocks. I want you to play full out to fulfill your mission because I believe when we play full out, we are going to start a ripple effect around the world for generations to come. I honestly believe that. And I think we're going to be the beginning of that. So this is no longer about me. I'm just the messenger planting the seed to a tree that I'll probably never see the fruits of. And I thank you all for being here today with me to go through this with me. So are you ready to have some fun? So currently, this is what we're going to go over today. The current you, the future you, the gap where we are, that's in between those two, your actionable steps, and your commitment to yourself. So your current you is, this is where you are right now. This is what you're experiencing right now. The future you is where you want to be. You know where you want to be. You can see it. But there's a gap in there. And that's what we need to figure out is what that gap is. And then we need to take the steps to bridge that gap. And today we're going to commit to ourselves to actually fix that gap. So that current you, it's important to know where you're starting from. It's like you're taking a trip. Well, need to know where you're starting from and where you're going, right? So you can put that in the GPS. And if you're like me and you used to use the old maps, well, once you put yourself down and you saw where you were going, you had to draw that line to figure out where you were going to go. So right now we need to know the starting point. So internal resistance is the same thing stopping you from moving forward. You could be doing everything you need to do, but not doing the one thing you know you need to do. The inner self stops you from taking a bold step. There are so many entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, who feel like they're on a hamster wheel, taking one step forward and two steps back and going absolutely nowhere. Do y'all feel me there? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay. So this can show up as busy work, but not doing the one thing you know you need to do because you're afraid or it's out of your comfort zone. Many people don't know what internal resistance is, yet I've seen this both in my own life and other people's lives. It can show up in so many ways. And one of the biggest ways is we judge ourselves because we think, oh, will anyone pay me for what I'm doing? What if somebody judges me or makes fun of me? Do I really know enough to be good enough to do those things that I say I can do? You do this because it gives you the feeling of progress when in fact, when you're busy doing things, you're really busy being stuck instead of focusing on the income producing activities. So what do? We take the action. We need to take the action that's uncomfortable. It's so much easier to stay in our comfort zones because it's familiar, right? And we know what to do there. We know what's going to happen there. We don't know what's going to happen in the unfamiliar. So it all comes back down to, do you believe you can do this? Or do you have some crazy rules that keep you from moving forward? And this applies at every stage of entrepreneurship and life in general. So those three questions I just asked, will anyone pay me for this? What if someone judges me or makes fun of me? And do I really know enough to be good enough? Those are just our fears. We're projecting them outward. It's like the law of attraction. What you think about, you bring about. So if you're thinking, am I good enough? Or will somebody pay me? Well, whatever you're thinking about, you're pulling that to you, right? And so this is validated because in many cases, evidence isn't there to show your success, but it is there to show you, oh, well, I keep bringing people to me that can't pay. Well, that's because I keep thinking, will they really pay me? Or I keep getting people who question everything I do. Well, that's because you're throwing out there, do I really know what I'm doing? And you don't do it consciously. It's just something that happens. So then you stop for a while. It could be due to the fear of success, the fear of failure, or even the feelings of not being enough. It's also due to conditioning. I've always done it this way. I always do my email. I always check Facebook. I always do whatever you're doing that's not necessarily moving you forward. The bottom line is we're afraid of the unknown. So to me, internal resistance is wanting to show up in the work in a certain way, but something inside you keeps you from doing it, even when we know what to do. And then we label it. We call it procrastination. We call it perfectionism. We call it self-doubt. We call it lots of things. So here's some more examples. Do any of these resonate with you? So if they do, I want you to write them down on your piece of paper. And which one of these is showing up the strongest right now? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to look it over. Everybody see that okay? Okay. Okay. So you often say something like, I'm a procrastinator. Notice that word, I am a procrastinator. You've just self-identified as the label. And there's one thing you need to know. It's only something you have, not something you are. It's not part of who you are. There's a big difference between those two and why language is so important. And it's why self-talk is so important. Self-talk holds so much more weight than other people's opinions. So if I said, Cassie, why are you not doing better? Why do you keep doing these things? Why are you this way? And if I said it, Cassie can go, oh, that's just Georgia talking. She doesn't know what she's talking about. But if Cassie's saying to herself, or Kim's saying to herself, or Mary Jane saying to herself, why am I this way? Why am I a procrastinator? Why am I compulsive? Why am I whatever? Well, it's a little harder to brush that off because we're talking to ourselves. And would you be best friends with someone who talked to you that way? So the secret is to listen to yourself. And when I say yourself, I mean your internal self. Really listen to the deep truth inside of you, the part of you that knows the truth. So many people are too busy to really listen to that part of themselves. We tend to, and that's kind of how we distract ourselves. We're looking at social media, we're reading our emails, we're binge watching TV, whatever we're doing. So we're doing everything but really listening to what our internal self is telling us. And that's where we need to do the authentic work to move ourselves forward. This means paying attention to what you were thinking and how you were feeling. Paying attention to what you were doing and not doing and how your body feels. That's where our intuition resides, right? That's how we know what's good or not for us. Slow down enough to allow the answers to what you're seeking to bubble up to the surface of your thought. If you overthink it, you've probably missed it. Trust the first thing that comes up to be the thing you need to know. Trust yourself to have the answer without confirmation from the outer world. Some of the ways you can do this is in the form of meditation, undistracted quiet time. It could be going for a walk. It could be taking a shower. It could be driving. And, a lot of people don't like doing meditation or sit quietly because they say, well, I can't quiet my mind down. All these thoughts are coming up. Well, one of the things you can do is take all of those thoughts and don't go, get out of here, go away. I can't have you right now. You're in my way. When you push them away, you're basically attracting them back. They get stronger. So what you do is, okay, I notice you, Now I'm going to ask you to set aside for just a minute. I'm going to put you in this box. I'm going to close the lid. And when I get through, I'll come back and I'll deal with you. So you're not pushing it away. You're not trying to force it out of your mind. You're just setting it aside gently for a few minutes. You don't have to sit on the floor or be a Tibetan monk. You don't have to do it for hours. Just a few minutes a day would work. So just let yourself sit there and allow your mind to drift for a little while. And once those distractions are gone, or you're not concentrating on them so hard, that's when you're going to notice the thoughts or the feelings that come up. And those are feelings that you feel in your body. So we're going to do an activity now. What is the number one resistance that shows up for you? And I'm going to come off that for just a minute so I can see all of y'all. Let's see. I'm going to quit sharing when I find the button. There we go. Okay. So does anyone want to come off and tell me what their number one resistance is? Anyone want to be brave enough to tell me? All right, Sabina.
Can I have two?
Sure.
Yeah, equally feeling stuck and self-doubt right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
On the backside of a big burnout.
Oh, that's it. That's might be the bigger issue right there.
Still connected.
Anybody else? Yeah. Anybody else want to share? No? Okay. Self-doubt for sure. Okay. Hey, Michelle, you want to say something? Hey, Kim.
Yeah, I was gonna
Kimberly?
say,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say burnout also, but procrastination.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Those are big. Those are very big. But they all are. They feel really big inside, don't they? And they really hold you back. Okay, let me get my screen going again. That is the only thing about Zoom. Everything's in the way. All right, here we go. Okay. So now let's go to the future you in flow. It's important to know where you want to go when you get into flow to know what the future looks like and feels like. Marty. Y'all excuse me, I have two wild dogs in here. Here we go. Can you see me now? Ah, they've just knocked everything down. Didn't break anything, just knocked it all down. So let me get my screen share back up. All right, can y'all see that now? Okay. I apologize. Okay, so now we want to know where we want to go. Okay. Just like I said, when you're going on a destination, you need to know where you're going so you can tell that GPS where to go. Let me move this again. Okay. So would you rather go towards your vision almost effortlessly with ease? For many women entrepreneurs, they believe this is a fairy tale when in fact it can be that easy. I describe it as following the inner guidance and things are easier. It feels like you're not having to fight to get things done. And so what this boils down to, are you facing the toward wall? Are you facing what you want? Or the away wall, which is what you don't want? So are you driving with the windshield or driving out the rearview mirror? That's what it boils down to. Flow allows something to show up when you need it to. It just appears. You're more present and see everything like opportunities around you more clearly. It's like time stands still or slows down, whatever you need it to do. And when you're not in flow, it's like going full speed down a highway the wrong way. You ever done that? Or seen somebody do that? You're having to decide how to get around it, through it, or over all of that traffic and all that noise. And it's hard. Everything's hard at that point. When there is a perfectly clear highway with your name on it, you own all the lanes, You can flow from lane to lane effortlessly, and you get to choose. You get to choose what you do. So many of us get caught up in their day-to-day activities to even find the space to visualize what they actually want. And if you ask them what they want, they can tell you in great detail what they don't want, but they don't know what they want. They really don't know what they want because they focus so long on what they don't want. And we can't be in the future physically now, but we can bring the future you into the now through visualization. The little rocket fella here. So visualization is a powerful tool to bring the creation of your future you. Your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what we imagine. So I want you to take full advantage of that to really step into what you truly want in your business and your life. Just remember, your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So here's a little exercise I want you to do. I want you to jot down a goal quickly. It doesn't have to be a big elaborate goal, but to help you determine what you really want, create a simple, smarter goal to start with. And the way you do it is you start with a SMART goal and you enhance it with emotion and energy. So a SMART goal is specific, simple, it's measurable, it's attainable, which means it's a realistic goal, it's relevant to you. And when I say relevant, I don't mean it's relevant to me or mama or husband or it's relevant to you. It's important to you and it's timely. It's date stamped. So for instance, what do most people say? I want X amount of dollars by December 31, 2024. So that would be a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant to you or to me, and it's timely. And then what you do to add the to it, you're going to reverse engineer it to activate your reticular activating system. So what is the reticular activating system? Well, we are bombarded by so much information all day long. We get billions of bits of information that come at us every day. And if all of those bits of information were allowed to come to us, we would be so overwhelmed, we could do absolutely nothing. So we have this thing called the reticular activating system that only allows relevant information or important information into our awareness. So think of it this way. This is probably an example you've probably heard before, but let's say I wanted to go buy a red Beetle. Never seen anybody drive a red Beetle before. I go to the store, I buy my red Beetle, I drive off the lot, and I immediately see three. How many of you had that experience when you bought a car you thought was unique? Right? Or a new outfit, and you go down the hall and there's 3 more people or 4 more people wearing the exact same outfit. Maybe a different color, but it's the same style. So that's your reticular activating system getting turned on. So when you consider what's important to you and what's not important to you, that's where the reticular activating system gets really important because what's important to you may not be what you want, but what you don't want. Think about that a minute. And so what does the reticular activating system allow in? More of what you don't want. That's why we want to focus on what we want. So when was the last time that you stepped into what you do want? This is where we can start to focus on the toward wall, the way you want to go instead of focusing on what you don't want. Like I said earlier, do you drive your car looking in the rearview mirror or do you drive it looking out the front window? There's the difference in your goal. Are you facing toward what you want or are you facing away from facing what you don't want? So here's some very powerful questions. If you don't want this, what do you want instead? If you don't want to be doing this, what do you want to be doing instead? What do you really want out of your life and or your business? And so here's some more. What would you want if you didn't have to be unhappy about not getting it? What would you want if you didn't have to be unhappy about not getting it? Did that one confuse you? It did me the first time I heard it. It's not a loaded question, but it sounds like one. It's basically saying, if there were no obstacles to getting what you wanted, what would you truly want? And when you know what you want, do you know how to get it? If you knew the answer would be yes, what would you really want? And if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you want? And if you knew money were no object, what would you want? So let's do another activity. This is a small taste of what you'll get to experience with me. If it's safe to do so, and I know some of you are driving, close your eyes and relax, arms and legs uncrossed. And just for a while, no one wants anything and no one needs anything. And so I'm going to stop sharing. You can see everybody's beautiful face. And so while you're sitting there with your eyes closed, I want you to think about that goal you just wrote down. Whether it was income, number of clients, or some other beautiful goal that you've got. And I want you to picture it. I want you to picture it in full color. I want you to make it bolder. And I want you to see who's with you. I want you to step into it. And I want you to access all of your resources, limitless possibilities, infinite support, and look around and notice everything going on in the picture. Go ahead, make it a movie. Bring it into crystal clear focus, seeing all the details and noticing everything in this picture. And make it brighter, make the colors perfect, and make the colors perfectly saturated, the perfect contrast, brightness, lightness, size, and do that now. And you can make this picture perfect, shiny, sparkling, and magnificent. And while you're there, listen. Really tune in and listen to what sounds are present. Are there voices? Cheering, perhaps? What sounds are present as you celebrate this achievement? Make them the perfect pitch, perfect volume, and tone, so that you hear the sounds as clear as a bell. Now, how does this feel? How does it feel to know that you've achieved this goal? Allow these feelings to flow through every cell, every molecule, every fiber of your being. You've accomplished this goal. You're celebrating. Do you feel gratitude, love, confidence, empowerment, joy, hope, excitement, or bliss? How else does it feel? Allow yourself to connect to the feelings present in this moment and turn up the intensity on those positive feelings. Turn it up as much as you can while still feeling wonderfully comfortable. And again, allow them to radiate through your whole body, from your heart center outward, bathing your cells in those wonderful feelings. And when you're sure that this goal looks perfect, sounds perfect, and feels perfect, go ahead and step out of the picture so that you see your body in the picture. Now, make it a still photograph and imagine placing it in a beautiful frame. Now I want you to take that beautiful picture and place it in your heart. And now slowly, and when you're ready, come back, open your eyes, feeling all those feelings. How did that feel? Anybody want to share? Thank you, BB. Anybody want to come on and tell me what they experienced? What? Nobody wants to be brave? Enlightened and clear. Thank you, Kimberly. Okay.
I was gonna say empowered.
Didn't you feel amazing that you had accomplished that? You could feel that, right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So make sure you write that down, write your goal down. So now you've got your internal resistance, your number one or number two, 1 and 2 internal resistance. And now write down your goal. Make sure you keep that. We've put that in our heart now. Okay. All right. So now we got the current you and the future you taken care of. Now we've got the gap. Let's explore that place in between where you are now and where you want to be. So everyone has a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part that is currently aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions, and anything that you're aware of right now. It's based on logic and reasoning, and the unconscious mind is based on emotion and instinct. So your conscious mind is that part of you that knows what's going on and makes the decisions, sort of. So think of the conscious mind as being from the neck up. It's that 10% of who you are. The conscious mind, we call that the goal setter. The unconscious mind is the neck down, basically. It's the 90% of who you are. And it has multiple functions. And part of that is to keep you alive. Your breathing, your heart beating, those things we don't really have to think about, but also setting off those alarms when something dangerous is detected. And your unconscious mind remembers everything, every word you've ever spoken, every word ever spoken to you, every experience you've ever had. I want to say from birth, but it goes way beyond that. Anything new can be perceived as scary and dangerous because it's unfamiliar. Your unconscious mind is always active and alert, and you're not even aware of it. It makes sure you respond exactly the way you were programmed, consistent with your self-concept, aka your limiting beliefs that you inherited and were put there as a child. So, for example, let's say you did something this morning and you made breakfast. Well, you made breakfast as whatever age person you are right now. So for me, it would have been me at 60 making breakfast. However, if I had made a big decision, an important decision, I made that decision with the mind of a 0 to 7-year-old, because that's where our beliefs came from, and that's where all of our stuff comes from. So making a change in yourself is hard because we're living with the stuff that we grew up with. And we all want to stay in our comfort zone. It's safe to be in our comfort zone. It's familiar. We know what the consequences are there or the rewards are there. You have to push through that discomfort in order to come out the other side to have that lasting change. The unconscious mind is considered the goal getter. This is who is running the show to keep you safe, to keep you alive, and to keep you in familiar territory. Like I said, your decisions in this familiar territory are made from your 0 to 7-year-old self. So can you imagine you making a really big decision, but it's you as a girl at like 5? Doesn't sound very appealing, does it? So that's where the change needs to take place. And also your unconscious mind needs very clear instructions. Oh, and by the way, it likes to have fun. It doesn't like to be serious. It likes to have fun. That's why it's so much easier to get things done when you're having a good time. So your conscious mind might say, the goal getter, the goal setter would say, I need 5 clients this month. Your unconscious mind, the goal getter, is going, no, it's not safe to go out there. Or if I get 5 clients, I'll be too busy to have time with for myself or my family. Or, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. How am I going to do this? So that's the unconscious mind. So once we get the conscious mind and the unconscious mind on the same page, that's when we can actually start stepping into the future version of you. And remember, this happens because the conscious mind is the goal getter, the goal setter, and the unconscious mind is the goal getter. So now, are your goal setter and goal getter in alignment? Do you set goals for your business and easily achieve them? So when I say that, what thoughts and feelings are coming up for you when you set a goal? Do they feel icky when you set the goal and think about it? Or does it feel really good? This shows that there is a potential conflict when it feels icky between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, or if you feel afraid, or it's too hard, I can't do it. This could be what's keeping you from pushing through that gap to reach your goal. That's that internal resistance. So let me stop sharing for just a minute and just ask, do any of you, when you set that goal you set just a few minutes ago, did you feel, yes, I can accomplish this, or did you go, yeah, but? How many of you went, yeah, but? Nobody? Nobody? Okay. Savina did. That's that internal resistance, Kim. That's that internal resistance. Yeah, this sounds really good, but how am I going to do that? I don't think I can do that, or it's going to be so hard to get there. I don't have a clue how to get there. I mean, I have a clue, but can I really do it? It's all of that self-doubt coming into play. So now we're going to discuss how you move forward from this point. So the big secret is to rewire those unconscious beliefs of not feeling worthy. We've got to set healthy boundaries, and this helps us do that. It can help us pursue our goals and our passions with confidence and strive for what we deserve. It can help us develop self-esteem and improve our mental well-being, and it can help us avoid self-criticism, shame, and unhealthy behaviors. And we as women just typically are so good at giving. We love giving of ourselves to other people, but sometimes it is so hard for us to receive. Do y'all agree with that? Or am I the only one that's like that? So what I've done is I've developed a 3-step process. It's identify the root cause. Remember when I went to the doctor, I told you he wasn't getting me the root cause, so I had to go find a specialist to do that. Identify the root cause. Then begin releasing the internal resistance, and then embody the new you to be in flow. So in order to do that, we got to get to the root cause. There's no doubt about it. We've got to get to the root cause. Like an illness, until you get to the root cause and not the symptom, we cannot clear up the emotions and meanings. How many times have you experienced this? You go see somebody, they say, "Oh, that's your problem." Well, it's like, my stomach hurts. Oh, well, here, take a Tums. Well, what if it's more than that? Oh, it's probably just you've got indigestion. So you take the Tums, but your stomach's still hurting. And not only that, now you're burping because you took the Tums, right? So now we've got 2 problems going on. So that's kind of how the doctors did with me, and that's how this happens when you've got something going on, but you're not getting down to it's like weeds. You want to get rid of your weeds, so you cut the top off. Does that get rid of your weeds? Not till you pull it out by that root. So in this step, we take the root cause and release the old emotions and limiting beliefs that are holding you back. These emotions or beliefs may have a high charge around them, meaning you get triggered whenever you think about the event or the situation. It can also be what triggers strong emotions in situations that don't warrant them, like anger. So for me, for instance, when my kids were little, I probably had a really sucky day at work. So I would come home tired and upset and would be trying to cook dinner, and they're under my feet. And we had a little kitchen too, by the way. There's a name for it. I can't think of what it's called, but it's just like it's something about a boat deck. I can't think of what it's called. But anyway, it was just wide enough for one person in there, but the kids were in there, and they were wanting mama, 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 and it's like setting all my bells and whistles off. And of course, what happened? I would explode all over them. Was it their fault? No, it was mine. I got triggered. And instead of taking it out on the person that instead of discussing it with the person that I should have discussed it with, I held it in, and when I got home, it went all over everybody. So it's easy to see this as a negative experience, but there's always a positive meaning, something that you have to learn from it. And by discovering what that positive learning is or what that positive meaning is, you can release that charge around the emotion or the belief. So, for instance, getting to the root cause, everybody's got a junk drawer. How many of you have a junk drawer? How many of you have more than one junk drawer? I have 3, at least 3. I'm not going to admit that I have more than that, but anyway. So, what do you keep in your junk drawer? Stuff that's broken, that fix it one day. Old stuff that you can't bring yourself to throw away, or even new stuff you can't bring yourself to throw away, or stuff you don't know what to do with. I think you hang this in a closet with mothballs in it. I have no idea. I'm going to fix this one day. You know what this is? Beads of a bracelet. I don't know where the string is. I don't have any. How many dog collars do you have in your drawers? I'd almost use tube of lotion. A cable. How many cables do you have in there? I don't know what it goes to. I can't tell you how many of those I have. Let's see what else I have in there. Oh yeah. How many of y'all get donut things from people wanting money from you? Garden gloves. I don't have a garden. But they're brand new. I can't throw them away. Uh, a tennis ball that definitely can't be used again because the dog chewed it up. Oh, I only have one shoestring. The other one was used probably 10 years ago, but I have to keep it, right? Oh, a yo-yo, my favorite. It's a yo-yo with no string. Now, do you think I'm gonna find string for that thing? Let's see what, a cassette. How many of y'all have cassette players still? Oh, and by the way, it's Footloose. I can't throw Footloose away. Sorry. A box. Might need it. I have a gift that big. I don't know. Uh, tag. I mean, put your, I guess, or who knows? A golf ball. I don't play golf. I don't know why we have that. Um, this used to be a visor clip. The clip's gone. We can't use it. And this used to be on our paper towel holder. It's got my mother's name, mother's last name, so I didn't throw it away. I know. Why do we keep these silly things? It's time to get rid of what's no longer serving us. And once we release those emotions and those beliefs, we forgive the past and ourselves. And it allows us to talk about the event without experiencing that heavy feeling because now it's in the past and they're not stuck in our present and our body because we've released it from our body. And we've also changed the meaning and the perception on a conscious and unconscious level. So can you see how powerful this is? So whether you're striving for your first client or you're on your journey from $1 million to $10 million income, anyway, resistance is resistance, no matter where you are in your journey. The question is, do you want to achieve your goals in flow or facing internal resistance? So now our next activity. What is the number one thing you know you need to do that you're not doing? Anybody? Anybody? What is the number one thing you know you need to do that you're not doing? Is it meeting new people and talking with them and actually bonding or connecting with them? Is it going out and networking, collaborating with people? I mean, you put it in the chat if you want to. And I would also write it on your paper because that's one thing you know you need to do.
So Georgia, since you can't see the chat, Michelle said action and Amy Wilson said let go of one of my businesses so I can focus.
Yes. So, Amy, you're distracted with all the businesses. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can't see it. Thank you, Cassie. I appreciate it. So write that down. Whatever came up for you, because it's personal to you. It's not me making a decision here. It's whatever you know came up for you that you know you need to do that you're not doing. So now we're going to do the final step, commit to yourself. You're going to make a commitment to yourself. Because now we've created that future you in your mind and we place it in our heart. Now we're going to make a powerful commitment to become the future you. We're going to make that decision to release that resistance, however you choose to do it. The commitment and decision is stored in your unconscious mind. So now here's our activity here. I want you to write that down for yourself. I commit to becoming the future me who releases all resistance and lives in a state of flow. I commit to becoming the future me who releases all resistance and lives in a state of flow, and then sign it underneath there. Now, if you want to make your own commitment to yourself, feel free to do that. This was just a suggestion I'm putting out there. But it's a commitment to yourself to do what you need to do to release that resistance and live in flow. Have you ever heard how you do anything is how you do everything? So if you're experiencing resistance in your business, you're probably experiencing that resistance in your life too. Because don't they kind of reflect each other? Everybody got that one? Okay. So now here's a recap of what we've gone over. We've uncovered the number one internal resistance holding you back from being in flow. And this is what you should have on your paper too. The reason this internal resistance shows up in your business and life. What steps you can take to remove that internal resistance. And let's not forget our commitment to ourselves to release that internal resistance. So now, as I said, I was going to reveal the bonus for those that stay to the very end. So now we're at an impasse. We have two options here. One, you can do it by yourself, or you can do it with a little bit of help using a proven system of support. So you can do it all by yourself. It may just mean reading more books, going to more classes, getting more free stuff. But let's face it, if you could have released it by yourself, you would have already done it, right? And option two is to get a little bit of support. Oops. So my bonus gift to you and my thank you for coming and staying to the end, and I appreciate you all still being here, is to give you a gift to you, my signature Be in Flow experience. And that's a 1-hour call with me where we explore your number one internal resistance holding you back and how you can personally begin to be in flow. It's a call where we get together. I sit there and committed to listen to you, being fully present 100%, and explore what you're going through and where you'd like to go next. And so right now, I've got a couple of ladies on here who are going to give their testimonials. So who would like to go first?
I can.
Okay.
All right. So my name is Cassie McLeod, and I have had the privilege of working with Georgia on a couple different occasions now. We've known each other for about a year at this point, which is crazy to think it's been that long. I just realized earlier when I was looking at my time hop, it was about a year when we met anyways. And I just got to say, she's just magical, like inside and out. She's so good at what she does, and she shines a spotlight so bright on what you need to see, but at the same time holding you in this safe place of love and safety, and just making it feel safe to release those things that you need to let go. And she's helped me work through and process so much of that dead weight that was holding me back. And it's completely changed my life. It's allowed me to let my inner shine out again to the world. And it's just helped me let go of like relationships that weren't serving me and help me grow in my business and also just in life in general. She held me accountable, but again, it was like in a loving, safe manner. And she really just helped boost my confidence and my business. And like I said, life in general has just been thriving ever since. And I'm just really grateful for her for helping me get my sparkle back that I lost so long ago. So thank you, Georgia.
You're very welcome, darling. Caroline, do you want to go next or BB?
I can go. Sorry, I tried to drop that link and butchered it, but it's Georgia's gift to you is in the chat. So, first of all, Georgia's voice is the best ever for hypnosis, in case anyone hasn't noticed. And specifically what comes to mind, Georgia's done a lot of work with me, but specifically, I don't know if y'all have heard of the upper limit problem. It can even manifest in the body. Mine would manifest as migraines, even though I was taking action. I was doing all the action and it was just miserable. So usually the first problem that'll happen is be terrified to take the action. But then when I was willing to take it, like headaches, like horrible, like they were migraines. And I'd had migraines in the past, and like one session gone. So if you've got upper limit issues, you got to work with Georgia. And if you don't know what they are, it's that thing where as soon as you're trying to stretch toward your goal and something sidetracks you, whether it's body problems, whether it's family problem, like whatever it is. I was a chiropractor for almost 15 years and I saw so many body problems show up as an upper limit symptom with people trying to go towards a goal. So it's brilliant working with her.
Thank you, Caroline. Is BB still with us? Go ahead, BB.
Sorry, the mic wasn't on the right spot. I apologize. I was here. Um, so what Georgia worked with me specifically was what she brought up before, like how our conscious mind is the goal setter and our unconscious mind is the goal getter. I really wanted to quit vaping, and I've been vaping for many years. Before that, I was a smoker. And for me, every time that I tried to quit before, it was like absolutely almost impossible. Can you guys see me? It seems like my video is frozen. Okay.
Yeah.
So every time that I tried to quit before, it was like impossible. I would do it maybe for a couple days and then I would just get back because it was so frustrating and so upsetting that even though I wanted to quit, I wasn't fully there to actually quit. And Georgia worked with me on that. And I quit so easily. Like I was not stressed out. It was my partner, he was incredibly amazed. Like one day I turned around, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't smoked in a month. And that was from working with Georgia. She's just phenomenal. And I just want to show up and say thank you. It's really a pleasure working with you. And I'm very blessed to have been able to do so and to overcome for something that for me was so big in such an easy way, like totally in flow. I loved it. Thank you.
Thank you, BB. Okay. Okay. So here is our roadmap. Can everybody see it? I'm hoping my picture is not in the way up here. Okay. So we start with discovering the root cause. We get to that root cause of your internal resistance, because what you see is like the pretty out here, the pretty out here. We're going to get down to down to the nitty gritty weeds down here. Then step 2 is begin releasing the internal resistance. We're going to begin that process of removing those blocks from your success. And then we're going to rewire your limiting beliefs and turn those into powerful thoughts. And then we're going to embody the new you, the person that you were meant to be. And then we're going to be in flow. So Caroline, if you would just put that link one more time.
It's still there, like it's still the
Okay.
last one on the. Mine isn't near as pretty. I couldn't.
Okay, that's fine.
The wrong computer for this. Sorry. It's really pretty, y'all. Though, like if she made it nice.
So anyway, book your call today. And like I said, it's a 60-minute call where we look at your notes that you've written today. And we really start digging down to see if we can get to the bottom of the root cause. We won't get down to the nitty gritty root, but we'll get pretty deep. And then we'll see where we can go from there. But it's a very, I'm trying to think of what someone told me the other day about it. She said it was a very powerful call for her because it gave her some more clarity around what was coming up for her. So that's what we're going to do, is get more clarity around what's coming up and see what we can do to help you fix that. So were there any questions? Do we have any questions? Anybody? Were there any questions in the chat or anything, Caroline or Cassie? Okay. Well, I want to thank all of y'all for being here today. And if there's any way I can help you, I would love to be able to do that. That is my free gift to you, is that 1-hour call to spend time with me to talk about this. But thank you all for being here. And I hope you found it as valuable as I thought it was. And I hope you got out of it what you were expecting to get out of this. So with that, I am going to tell all of you good night. And thank you for being here. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sabina. I appreciate it. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kimberly and Kim. Agnes. And Danielle, I appreciate you all being here. And Danielle, I hope you get home safely. Michelle, thank you all so much. Have a good evening.